So there's a new Note 9. You probably heard about it. A huge event. The stage, it does this, it does that. It's the new powerhouse. It's the top of the food chain. You got a pen. It's an upgraded version of the previous one. In fact, if I pull the previous one out over here, you can probably hardly, maybe not at all, tell the difference. But there are some differences, and the new one is better. This one here actually steps up 0.1 inches diagonal screen space. The resolution is identical, but this one, the Note 9, is 6.4 inches diagonally compared to 6.3 on the previous version. The screen to body ratio slightly better. Flip them over, you can see the camera layout has changed a little bit, or the fingerprint scanner in relationship to the camera layout. Underneath the camera modules, it was really hard to distinguish the difference, and you would end up touching the lenses themselves. The cameras are different now too. On the Note 9, they catch up to the S9 Plus, the same two-lens system with the variable aperture. Now this device is obviously big. This is for power users, and that's what was a bit confusing about the previous generation. Right after the battery fiasco, the new one here, they get aggressive with the battery all over again. This one is going to feature a 4,000 milliamp hour battery. This thing's a little bit fatter, a little bit heavier. Not a big issue, not for me. Samsung's saying is all day battery life. I hate that kind of marketing mumbo jumbo. All day? Whose day? My day? Your day? I'm just gonna say it's gonna have some awesome battery life. The storage options right out of the gate, there's a 128 gigabyte option, no more 64 gigabyte option at all. There's a 512 gigabyte option. Both expensive. It starts at $1,000 US, and then the bigger storage version, which also comes with a little bit more RAM, goes up even higher to $1,250. Jack, that is $1,250. Now I know you got plenty of cash. Remember you were talking about the music festival the other day? I'm making decent cash. You remember that when you said that? Well, I can be in the VIP section at a music festival because I'm making decent cash. So for you, this is nothing. But the world doesn't live like you, man. Snapdragon 845 in here, 6 gigabytes or 8 gigabytes of RAM. Also has liquid cooling scenario as well. Partnership with Fortnite for this device specifically. I installed it on here already. Of course, it's not coming through the Play Store, which was an interesting development. Fortnite didn't want to kick any cash to Google. So for the first 48 hours of this device's existence, you're only going to be able to play Fortnite on Galaxy phones. That seems to be the deal that they struck. If you're familiar with gaming PCs, you've probably heard of water cooling. It's an unusual thing to have in phones. Samsung kind of wants to dive into that same department to a certain extent. Consider this phone to be their gaming phone. Why can't it be a gaming phone? You're trying to say you're a Note. You're trying to say it's productivity. Whoa. Who is this thing for? I think it's for people who do a ton of computing on their smartphone. All of a sudden you start to make the case for the S Pen. This pen here is a little different than the previous version. Bluetooth LE charges inside of the phone. You can control your music from here. I don't know, am I holding this thing and skipping tracks? That said, you have over 4,000 levels of pressure sensitivity on that pen. You know, Willie Doo, he's a bit of a sketcher. Maybe we bring him in here. Maybe we ask him if it's the real deal or not. That's for a later date. Nonetheless, you can draw on your phone pretty nicely. This one now features stereo speakers. Of course, look at my recommendation. No one's logged in or anything. It's just like... I could probably be more impressed, to be honest. Okay. Look, it's better. It's forward firing. There's also a little bit more bass to it, which I like. Yeah, it does feel a little bit heavier. A headphone jack, and Jack is the biggest fan in the world of headphone jacks. Right, Jack? Fingerprint scanner on the back is like, what about the reach? But take a look at this. This is the old Note. That was a nightmare location, especially on this device with the large display. There's something unnerving about hitting this rectangle and feeling the edges. There's nothing as satisfying as hitting a circular fingerprint scanner. So who is this phone for? Somebody who wants the biggest, baddest, doesn't care about cost. He's somebody who really gets a lot of use out of that S Pen. Look, it's a Samsung device. It's gonna be good. With this one, you can make the case that you got the 4,000 milliamp hour battery. You've got the biggest screen, high spec, out of the gate with price tag to match. The speakers are now better as well. The only thing holding this one back is the price. If you can afford it, you might love it. If you can't, you can get a lot of value for a lot less. I'm putting that out there. Look, I'll eventually switch to this one in a minute. Don't you worry about it. You know I'm experimenting with the P20 Pro right now. Give me a minute, please. And whether or not I can recommend it as a real buy and slap the plastic down. Of course, if you're not a person like Jack with the money falling out of the pockets, you know,